As promised, we're talking a little bit about college football and the playoffs. Uh, they're officially out. And you know what? Sadly, Alabama did not get to make it in this season. I'm sure they'll be back next year. They're going to make something happen. But the matchups are looking like Ohio State versus Tennessee in Columbus. Clemson goes in to Austin to play the Texas Longhorns. Indiana versus Notre Dame, which is going to be a very interesting one. Both teams in Indiana, and SMU plays Penn State. What do y'all think, BB? You could give it to us first. What do you think is going to be the best game of the first round games in this playoff?
The best game, I'm going to go the best game is going to be Indiana Notre Dame. I think will be the most competitive game. I think the other three games could straight up end up in blowouts. I think Ohio State could dismantle Tennessee. I think this is almost a certain that Texas is going to abuse the Clemson Tigers. And we've seen Kate Klubnik against good defenses. First game of the season against Georgia, first play of the game, first play of the season, rollout, easy completion, and he spiked it into the dirt. Then we got SMU Penn State. I don't know if you guys are at the ACC championships. I don't know if you got a chance to watch that game versus Oregon. I've never been a Drew Aller fan. He looked elite. Drew Aller, if we see this Penn State offense mixed with that Penn State defense, it could get really ugly for SMU. It could get really ugly really quick.
Max, there's some there's some lines that are out already, right, for these games?
Yeah, there
are. Texas is favored. Is Texas favored by double digits?
Forgot Pierce was in here.
I actually don't know what the Texas spread is. I don't know if I saw that one. Do you have the bracket? Can you throw it on the screen or no?
I can. Let me grab it real quick, y'all.
I'll pull up the spreads while Key's doing that.
Good deal. And Max, go ahead, bro.
What am I chatting about?
Okay, the Clemson spread is Texas minus 11. Texas minus 11.
I mean, I think I like all the favorites beside Notre Dame. I mean, Clemson and SMU, dude, they're both bad. I'm gonna be completely honest. They're both really bad. I think Clemson scored on one of those little like QB blast pop passes.
That was an illegal play. That was an illegal
play. Offensive line, but like that kind of stuff that doesn't work against those big teams. Like, I mean, SMU's jerseys they pulled out. They looked like a bad high school team. Their jerseys are horrible. They might be Russell.
Riddell, whatever it is.
No, dude, they're bad. Clemson's bad. Like these ACC teams are just going to get blown out.
Yeah,
I think Miami's the only ACC team that even had a chance to win like one game in the playoff, just because I think their offense is so good that they could maybe outscore someone. But
I will say, I mean, Clemson early in that game, I mean, they were dominating SMU. They looked pretty good as a football team. Like Clemson was nice in that game. And then I don't really know what happened. SMU mounted a nice little comeback. But, I mean, the wide receiver, number 14, maybe Pierce can help me out with this guy's name. Freshman, I do know.
Bryant Wesco, I think. I think it's Bryant Wesco.
He was hooping.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
I want to see what he can bring to the table. But this is the best way I could get this thing up. This is the bracket. This is the bracket. Okay, yeah. So right. Indiana is favored, or Notre Dame's favored by 8 points. I'm not sure if I'm good to lay 8 points on Notre Dame, Max. I know you were just saying you like the favorites in all the games this week. Or
I said except for Notre Dame.
Oh, did you? Okay, I was trying to pull this. Yeah, I agree. I cannot in good faith lay 8 points in a playoff game for a team that lost to Northern Illinois. I mean, no chance.
Yep.
No
I'm
chance.
the same way. Like all these games are the biggest spread is Texas. The rest of them are within 10 points, so they're saying they're all could be like rather close games. And personally, I'm not seeing it that way.
Well, I mean, there's gonna be one game that's like, oh, it's gonna be like close, like for like no reason. I can see Tennessee, Ohio State coming down to the wire. Ohio State wins on a game-winning field goal, something like that. But no, I'm telling you, SMU is going to get throttled. They came out. I mean, the ACC. I mean, we were there. The stadium was not even full. It wasn't even like a big crowd. And they're about to go into Penn State, which I think has the biggest stadium in all of college sports. They're going to be wearing that white. Oh my God. It is going to get bad for SMU.
SMU, I mean, they definitely at the start they definitely looked a little nervous. I think they showed a graphic on the TV that they only had like 5 dropped passes like all year, and then within the first half they had 4.
Oh my God! Their receivers looked absolutely terrible, and I mean SMU's used to going and playing a night game at Wallace Wade against the Blue Devils. Like they're just not ready for these big time games. That they just don't have the meat and the star power like these other big schools have to compete.
Yeah, I agree. They didn't look good, and I was trying to tell you, Penn State. I mean, are you bought in on Penn State now, BB? After that loss, of course, still, but are you a little more bought in on them as a team going into this college football playoff?
I mean, yeah, like that's the first time I've seen their offense clicking like that. But I'm starting to question the Oregon Ducks defense as well after that. They gave up 34 to Boise State. I'm pretty sure against Ohio State, the game was also in the 30s. Now they're giving up almost 40 points to Penn State. Like, is this Oregon Ducks defense going to be able to stop anybody in the playoff? Or their offense is elite. It could be the best offense in the country. Tez Johnson was back, and that guy can play. Simple as that. That guy can play. Yeah. And so I mean, both offenses were clicking, but I think Penn State can you pull up no, it's not on there anymore. The bracket. I think Penn State definitely, I think they definitely beat SMU. They should handle Boise State. But when it comes time to play Georgia, because I think Georgia's going to beat Indiana or Notre Dame, we'll see. We'll see if they can score on the Georgia D. Who Texas seemingly struggled to score against. So
that's a question.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely more bought in than I was after watching the Big Ten championship, but I think they have a chance to win the Natty. Probably not, no.
So I actually saw something. Obviously it's the first year of this college football playoff bracket, whatever. There is something seriously wrong with it. Like it is really, really bad. It's almost like Oregon's getting punished for winning their conference, being the number 1 seed overall all year. They got to play Tennessee or Ohio State. Like it rather is. If they lost that game, they would have either been the 5. They probably would have been the 5 seed. They would have played Clemson and then Arizona State. Meanwhile, Penn State loses and gets SMU and Boise, dude, the whole bracket, and like you can't tell me that Alabama's not a better team than SMU too. Like that's kind of my whole thing is like put SMU and Alabama on a field together. Alabama's favored by double digits. So it just the playoff the 12 team's cool, but they've got a lot of stuff to figure out with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot. There's definitely a lot to be cleaned up, and I think the biggest thing to clean up is the fact that if you win your conference championship, you don't necessarily deserve a bye week because, like, if you look at it like this in the sense where if number 3 instead of being Boise State, number 3 would have been Texas, and number 4 would have been Penn State. That completely changes all of the rankings. And now like Ohio State and Tennessee are 6 and 7 or whatever, and it looks a lot different. It cannot. You deserve a spot in the playoff if you win. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
should you have a bye week? No. I mean,
No. I mean, also, I think as fans, I think everyone would like to see, if you're the number one overall seed in Oregon, like, your fans, like, you want to see your team play at home in a big time game like that. Like, I think that's just cool. I think these teams that are playing in the first round are getting not really an advantage, but like they're gonna be ready to rock. These other teams have to wait like 3 weeks before they can even play.
Yeah.
So
I think it definitely needs changing. And I think Nick Saban had a good point. There's no tournament in sports where the top 4 teams, the highest ranked teams, are not the highest ranked teams. This is the only tournament that we've ever seen in sports where the top 4 teams in the country are not the top 4 seeds entering the tournament. Like, I think I see what they were. It sounds good in theory before the season. Like, yeah, you win your conference, you get a first round bye, you're a top 4 seed. But when it comes down to it, and we look at the bracket now, and Boise State gets a bye, and Arizona State gets a bye, it's kind of like,
what are we doing?
Those are not 2 of the top 4 teams in the country.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the only way that the whole top 4 conferences get a bye, it would only work in a perfect world where all the conferences had the exact same like teams in them. They're like, if they're balanced exactly the same. And I mean, that's just not the case. I mean, the SEC and Big Ten are by far the best 2 conferences.
I think I don't know if they'll change it like this soon, already changed their format, but I definitely could see a day in the coming years where it's no longer that the conference, it's not the guaranteed first bye, and it's like Keith said, and like y'all said, it's just you get a guaranteed bid. You don't have to be a top 10, 12 or a top 12 ranked team in the country, but if you win your conference, if you're one of the top 5 conference winners, you'll be in the playoff.
I think it will change. Literally, with the amount of backlash they're getting, I'm pretty sure it's going to change after this year. And the other thing that needs to be considered, Notre Dame should have to be in a conference. Like, they can't.
Yeah, I agree.
They can't be independent schedule. A cupcake schedule. Go 11 or 12-1 and automatically be considered a top 12 team. I mean, like, that's a little bit ridiculous. Notre Dame in this playoff, in order to, they have to be in a conference, especially when other teams are competing for conference championships just to make it in. Something has to happen for Notre Dame, because now at the way it's going, they just kind of get to sit on the sidelines every single week just about, while guys, SEC, Big 10, Big 12, even like Colorado, if they got to pick their schedule, they'd be in the playoff. A lot of teams, if they just got to pick their schedule, not have to play, these other teams are fighting for their lives. Maybe like SEC, I'll give it to you just about every single week. Big 10, at least 4-5 times in a season, you're fighting for your life in order to make it in the college football playoff. A team like Notre Dame loses to Northern Illinois. The next best game they had was Army, maybe. It's like, okay, and then they don't even have to play in the conference championship to make it in. They're just in. Like, Notre Dame has to be in a conference.
I was listening to a show today, and it's been the argument like the past couple of days. It's been strength of schedule. Like, nobody gets rewarded for scheduling these tough schedules. And to be honest with you, I don't like that argument, because if you go look at every single team in the country's non-conference schedule, nobody really schedules tough outside of the conference. Yes, the SEC, you have a tough schedule in your conference, but you don't get to pick those games. Like, if you go look at Bama's non-conference schedule, it's like Western Kentucky, South Florida, Wisconsin. Wisconsin's not a hard game. They were 12th in the Big Ten. And I think Mercer. Like, nobody is scheduling these tough non-conference games. And the fact that Notre Dame, I didn't even think about it till I heard it. They get to schedule every single game they played. If nothing changes, they're going to be in the playoff every year, because they're just going to go undefeated every year and schedule 12 bad teams every year. Yep. So I 100% agree.
Well, and it's not even that they're going to go undefeated. They can still lose 1 game, maybe 2, and still be in. It'd be interesting to see if they lost 2 games, if they would have been in over like SMU. It would have been heavily considered, 100%.
I agree. It would have if they were to like Army or something. Like if they lose 2 ranked games, they're in. It doesn't matter. Like which is ridiculous. Notre Dame figure something out about Notre Dame. Who do
Yeah,
y'all?
I mean, dude, I'm looking at their schedule right now. It's literally laughable.
Yeah, it's. I don't understand how it's not a automatic disqualification from the college football playoff. They didn't just lose to a 500 like Wisconsin team. You lost to a 5-loss Northern. This team isn't even good in their conference. You lost to a 5-loss Northern Illinois team at home. How is that not automatic DQ? How? I don't care if you have 1 loss. You have no good win. I mean, you have Texas. Yes, you beat Texas A&M, but you lost to a 5-loss Northern Illinois team at home. That should be automatic DQ.
I completely agree. I completely agree. And the thing is, like, I feel like an automatic playing devil's advocate. It's like, okay, ACC, they had a easy schedule too, but at the end of the day, Clemson had to play SMU, the 2 teams. Like Notre Dame, if they were in the ACC, they would have had to come and beat SMU, and that kind of gives you at least some validity in making the college football playoff. So it's just like the fact that it's just all encompassing in the fact that Notre Dame doesn't have to do anything really and make it to the playoff. They will actually make it every single year.